George Soros and Donald Trump. What do they have in common? I don't know. They both have a lot of money, that I know. George Soros is the villain's villain. So many people that are conservative and God-fearing despise this man. He has to be doing something wrong. And oh, look, once again, the broken clock is right twice a day, and it must be spinning around to that time when Russia's right. All right, I'm not saying they're 100% right, but they banned one of his groups. They banned George Soros' group in Russia. Now, for those of you who have not been following it, George Soros is the one who's bankrolling some of these Black Lives Matter people. He's bankrolling the people that went to Ferguson. Right? Somebody has to pay for all this. These people are jumping on buses and they're getting fed. George Soros and his operatives the money's been traced back to him repeatedly. Okay? And there are people who despise him. And Russia has said, and I forget the name of his group, I apologize. Put it up on the screen for me, would you? Yes, this group. They have been banned from activities in Russia because they believe that that could certainly destabilize the country. Their rules for freedom are a little bit different than ours over here. But they have been taking it to ISIS. We'll come back to that in a moment. I want to talk to you. I want to give you a history lesson on Turkey, on ISIS, on Syria, on Iran, and Saudi Arabia, and explain to you what's going on over there. Let's go to Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, as you know, maybe you know, he got in trouble over the weekend, over Thanksgiving weekend, because he was mocking a reporter who originally covered the fact that there were celebrations going on in America after 9/11. That there were, on the Twin Tower attacks and the Pentagon and the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania, there were Muslims in American streets rejoicing, celebrating. Multiple news outlets covered it, okay? So the first criticism against Trump was, he's making this up. We did a fact check and no one said that there was, oh yeah, actually the Washington Post did and a couple of newspapers in New Jersey did. They said, yes, in America, there were Muslims rejoicing over the Twin Towers. I saw footage when I was watching it in 9/11. So I know that it happened. Now, I don't remember if the footage I saw was foreign people rejoicing or domestic people. My impression at the time was that it was people on American soil rejoicing. So they mocked Trump and said he's making this up. And then, oh, look, there really were news reports that it had happened. Maybe it wasn't thousands, but it happened. And that was his main point. So then they interviewed the reporter, and the reporter has a handicap. Trump went like this, and he said that he was just mocking somebody who was afraid. Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And the man has a disability that makes his limbs not function properly. Trump says no to people, took what I did and said to mean that I was mocking his handicap. I was not. I was mocking somebody. I don't even know what he looked like. I don't know if it's true or false. This is what I know. Karl Rove, the Republican establishment, candidates like Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio are frantic to try and find something to derail Trump. Now, I want you to think with me. I beg your pardon. Let's assume that Trump was mocking that reporter based upon his physical handicap. I would find that horrendous. I really would. I'd find it in such bad taste. Does that disqualify anyone from the presidency? Now think about it. Just don't answer quickly. I'm not so sure it does. I can think of a lot of things that disqualify someone from the presidency. A lot of things. I'm not sure that one does. It might, but I'm not so sure. And Trump is still leading in all the polls. He's like the Teflon Don, literally. That's what we could call him, the Teflon Don. People just don't care because they've had it with the Republican establishment and the left-wing media. I'll be right back. Don't go away.